recent years, there has been much speculation on the effects of social media on the human population. Many scientists believe that social networking sites do more harm than good to the human social interaction. Personally, I feel social media is not harmful, but that it does have consequences within our society. Much evidence has been found to support this, and there is a true story concerning Facebook I would like to share. A short time ago, a girl in her teens made a friend on Facebook, a suitor of sorts. This friend shared few personal details, but they continued to talk regularly. Eventually, the girl wanted to meet up with him, so she pushed to set a time and place to meet in person. They decided on the mall because it was a crowded place, and she chose the food court because she knew from experience that there were many of the security team would be during lunchtime rush. When the day came, the girl went to meet the boy, and she found a very handsome man waiting on her. They spent several years dating and building a relationship. Now they have been married for a year and are expecting their first child. The story is considered a success. However, there are people that did not use caution in similar situations, and they were the horror stories that you hear on the news. The news controls which stories you hear, and they all have bias. Therefore, if the person writing the program dislikes social media, all you will hear are the horror stories and never get to hear the great things that can come out of social media, such as reconnecting with old classmates that moved away and staying in touch with family on the other side of the world. Social networking sites give people their own space, and they are meant to be used for fun and to socialize with people that you cannot see all of the time. However, the real question is, why is there not an internet safety class being taught in schools instead of requiring students to take personal finance and 3 years of a foreign language? Many of these children being allowed to create social media accounts have parents who are not monitoring what they are doing, and this leads to the horror stories that the media so often portrays. If there was a social media safety class, we could limit the amount of children that put themselves in situations that lead to abductions and their involvement in human trafficking. Time for another success story. My family has been spread over the whole country for many years now, and when I turned 13, my mother allowed me to get a Facebook to reconnect with several of my older cousins. After I created my account, many of my family members began to message me, and I rebuilt my relationship with my older cousin Zoie over the next year. When her graduation rolled around, she invited me out to stay with her and to get to see her graduation. I flew out there and stayed with her and her family for a week, and we went sightseeing and then threw a huge graduation party that was tons of fun, and I got to meet lots of interesting people. Today we still talk regularly and try to see each other at least a few times a year. Another issue many people have with social networking sites is cyberbullying. This is another issue that could be eliminated if there was a social media safety class that every child is required to take, and there should be parents monitoring of what the child does online. These issues would not be a problem if the children were taught better manners, which I feel should also be included in the internet safety course, because many parents no longer teach their children proper manners at home in this day and age. Social media has become an integral part of the human society, with many people using it to advertise and also to sell products. Many people find clothing deals and recipes on social media that they use in their home. They expand their culinary skills and expand their rural knowledge by getting to experience authentic foreign foods without ever leaving their homes. Another selling point about social media is the ease with which it spreads news to the general population. In the past, it would take weeks for the news of a death or a major business venture to reach all of the country. Now it takes hours and sometimes only minutes for the whole world to know what has happened on the other side of the country. This incredible speed that news can now travel at has made some resources of media obsolete and outdated. Newspapers will soon be a thing of the past, and within another few generations, few people will even remember what a newspaper once was, and because there will be no more newspapers, social media is saving trees and the environment. This is a big selling point to many people that wish to preserve our planet for future generations. Overall, the benefits of social media outweigh the bad, and if we had an internet safety class mandatory for all children in schools, then that would limit the amount of bad things that happen due to a relatively good concept. Many of the social networking sites have safety measures that simply have to be put into action by the user themselves, such as privatizing their account, and parental controls can be put on the profiles by the parents if they will only take the time to do it. The companies that have created these sites try to take every precaution to make sure that their users are safe and that they are protected from any possible dangers. However, there's always people who work the system to create chaos. These are the predators and creeps that unfortunately can be encountered by young girls who do not understand the difference between love and possession. Social media should not be scorned because of how the select few use it instead of the purpose that its creators intended it to be used for.